Hello, everyone. It's the Catalog Man here with you again. Today we're looking at AP, Alternative Press. For those who don't know, Alternative Press, AP, is a music magazine. Still around today, obviously mostly website based now. Focuses primarily on alternative music, pop punk, a little bit emo, hardcore, kind of that sort of genre of music. We're not going to really look at the whole magazine because the point of the video is to look at the ads, not all the articles. If you want to see the articles, I'm sure it's available on their website or you can archive somewhere or something like that. However, let's take a look at this cover. So, Warped Tour edition, the 15th anniversary of Warped Tour. This is August of 2009. I didn't realize Warped Tour was that old, honestly. But yeah, so this is a Warped Tour centric magazine, so there's going to be a lot of Warped Tour based ads. But let's get started. All right, right off the bat, we got Vans, and I'll move this out of the way. Off the Wall. So, the Vans that were popular back in '09. I'm guessing they still have these or something similar to that. I just always buy the classic ones. That insert I pulled out earlier, basically it's just 12 issues for $12. And that is what I very much paid for this magazine back in the day. I subscribed to it for years. All right, Alaska. Never heard of them. A lot of these bands I'm not going to really be that familiar with just because I read it more for the hardcore side of things and some alternative music. I wasn't into pop punk or anything like that. All right, got some more bands. Cobra Starship, I have heard of them. The rest of these, not so much. All right. In store now. He is Legend. That band I actually do know. Saw them open up for someone. I don't quite remember who. It's been too long. It was just like they were nobodies. It was like when it was opening act, they played for like 15, 20 minutes. Like they didn't play very long. MySpace. Check out the record label on MySpace. Being 2009, MySpace was still a thing, although it was dying. 2009, yeah, MySpace was definitely on the rapid decline. Facebook, I'd say 2010 is when they really broke into the mainstream. I first got Facebook in 2007. So yeah, this is definitely their last hurrah. Rise Records. Attack Attack, Devil Wears Prada, Dance Gavin Dance. They are very much around and still quite popular, actually. Although I was never really into them, or any of those bands for that matter, but I'm familiar with most of them. Available Hot Topic, FYE, or Best Buy. FYE still exists? I don't even know. I haven't thought about them forever. Oops. All right, some more albums. Bunch of bands I've never heard of. Jeffree Star sounds vaguely familiar. Definitely not my thing musically. Okay. Right, so I've got some more bands. Don't know them. More MySpace. It's for Cloven. Rockstar Energy Drink. I guess they still sponsor bands. I don't know. Monster does. They still do that. I know. They sponsor a lot of bands. There was a whole bunch of those back in that time period. I remember it was the No Fear energy drink uh, stuff they sponsored, but you always got a free can of that energy drink at that concert, which I liked. Although chugging an energy drink at like 10:30 at night, probably not the greatest idea, but one in Rome. Just talking about some bands and stuff. Um, Again, not really the point of this. August Burns Red. I've heard of them. Um, Emery, do not know. Not really familiar with them. Or Tooth and Nail Records. And then another band never heard of. Usually there's a lot more bands I know in this, but I guess because it's kind of a little bit more Warped Tour centric, and I wasn't as much into those types of bands. But Full Sail University. I used to hear those advertised all the time. Um, Not really sure how good of a school that is. I don't even know if it's still around anymore. That's one of those things you always heard advertised, like either on the radio or in print. Um, got some. Never MySpace. I mean, I guess everybody has a MySpace at this point. Interestingly enough, nobody's saying Facebook, but I guess it's kind of before Facebook really, before bands really embraced that. Drop Dead Gorgeous. I've definitely heard of them. I'm not sure if they're still around or not. The Summer Slaughter Tour of Chimera. Now Chimera, I know. I like them. I like their older stuff at least. They broke up for a while. I think they actually got back together. But I don't know if it's like, if it's still Mark Hunter and still Matt DeVries and like those people are still in it or not, or if it's a whole new group. I don't know. Honestly, it's not really the type of music I listen to anymore anyway. But Sumerian Records, yeah. Oh, they had some great bands. That was actually a good label back in the day. Got some merch, it looks like. Um, no job for a cowboy. That's a heavy ass band. Got some hair product. Looks like it's just, well, like hairspray. Yeah, hairspray and stuff like that. Airwalk. That was huge in the '90s. I guess even into the early 2000s, like when I was, very much growing up. I had a bunch of Airwalk shoes. Um, I can't really remember the last time I saw somebody wearing Airwalks. I mean, I guess they still exist. I don't know. Never even thought about them in decades. But, it was the trend. That's the time. When I wore them, that's when the time period was Stussy, No Fear, those types of things with your Airwalks or Vans. That's an interesting question. Is it okay for musicians to have other people ghostwrite their social networking accounts? Um, it's an interesting question because, again, this is 2009. So your social media stuff was pretty limited. Facebook, obviously, MySpace was still around. Twitter, was that around? I don't even know. If they were, very, very young. Instagram was just brand new and not anything remotely like it is today. Um, but yeah, so the question at hand though, I don't necessarily see a problem with it because at the end of the day, it's pretty hard for, especially a bigger band, to really interact with their fans. One band comes to mind that really does interact with their fans all the time. They're super into everything fan related. Social media is Psycho Stick. which is a kind of a niche metal parody band. Um, you would probably recognize some of their songs if you heard them. But yeah, that's a band who's gun ho, hardcore into everything fan related, acknowledges their fans, talks to their fans. What I like is one band that comes to mind back when I was on Facebook was OTEP. So OTEP, on their social media page, sometimes she herself would write stuff. Other times, it'd be a post like, "Hey guys, how you guys doing today? What do you think about blah 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 blah?" And it'd have like their initials or the person's name, like Mike. I like that because they're not trying to be OTEP herself. They're acknowledging, hey, this is not her, but I'm writing on her behalf. And then she might jump into comments or something like that. I like that. But, to expect somebody like Taylor Swift to respond to you is preposterous and just not even remotely feasible. So I don't really have a problem with ghostwriting. I think it's cool if they go and actually say they're not that person. Denim. New releases. All Time Low, Clutch, Poison the Well, August Burns Red. I'm just kind of skimming super fast and just looking at bands I actually recognize, that's basically all Memphis May Fire. I know them. All right, in the studio, Hawthorne Heights and Mayday Parade. Hawthorne Heights. My goodness. I've not thought about Hawthorne Heights forever. Got another ad for Warped Tour stuff again. More upcoming releases. I don't really recognize any of these bands. Oh, OTEP. Just talking about them before. Smash Control Machine. What album would that have been? What song was on that? Whatever. Shadows Fall. They are not around anymore. Their one guitarist went on to join Anthrax, which is pretty cool. Pretty good guitarist. Converge. That's an awesome band. Not everybody's cup of tea, but they're very unique and really cool, and they have some really interesting albums and songs. A lot of collaborations they've done with people over the years too. Definitely something to check out if you're kind of into hard rock. A little bit darker style. Look at that old iTunes logo. Oh gosh. Well, this is 2009. So the first iPhone came out in 2008, and then iPods was still very much a thing. So yeah, that was that era's little logo. Skip that. Drumming. I used to be a drummer. I drummed for a long time until I had an injury on my leg that prevented me from kind of drumming as easily anymore. So I can't really drum that much, sadly. CNC drum kits, awesome drum kits. They make really, really good drum kits. With Andy from Fall Out Boy, obviously. That bass drum is huge. That's like Tommy Lee size. Monstrous thing. Vic Firth drumsticks, which I used as a drummer. A lot of harder bands are advertising. Suicide Silence, great band, great drummer. He's a really good drummer. Hollywood Undead. So, Hollywood Undead, I secretly liked their first album. I don't know if I'm ashamed to admit that or not. I don't know. I mean, they're an all right band. I never got into them, but they were all right. Whitechapel, that's heavy as can be. Jesus. That's a, yeah, that's a metal band. Gig bag. Microphone stuff. Tuner for the headstock. Miscellaneous stuff for guitars, drums. And then we got some speakers, amps, PV. Got guitar strings. Elixir. Honestly, it sounds and looks like a condom box. That's just me. I'm not a guitarist. Sabian cymbals. Those are the cymbals I used to use too. Don't really recognize most of these bands. Scary Kids Scaring Kids. That's an awesome band name. Let's see. Hurley. It's just All Time Low. I remember that band. Didn't like them, but I remember them. Suicide Silence. I know we're not going to talk about, again, articles, stuff like that, because that's not the point of this video. Plus, I don't want to get copyright striked by AP. I don't think we would, but still. Sadly, 2009, the singer, him, he died shortly after in I believe it was a motorcycle accident. Real tragic, because this band's phenomenal. I love this band. Heavy as can be. But their first album really kind of brought a breath of fresh air into metal. Yeah, super sad he died. They're still around today. They have another singer. I saw them with the new singer, actually, a while back. Really good. Got some merch again, t-shirts, Dead Swans. Some more stuff I don't know. Number one unsigned bad boy LA Rockers. Never heard of them, so they must have stayed unsigned. Higher. Some more merch. Cool kicks. Yeah, those are your shoe styles from back in the day. Justice for All high tops, those are actually kind of cool. For a girl, those are actually kind of cool shoes, I think. If you got that right look to you. Tegan and Sarah got their own shoes. Tegan shoes pretty freaking awesome. More hair care products. Indie merch store. Thousands of products from bands, artists, and labels. A lot of heavier stuff. Whitechapel Behemoth. I mean, Killswitch Engage isn't that heavy. Slayer obviously is. It's cool. Some more gear stuff. Ha, the Sidekick. I remember those all the rage. I never had one, but those were very much all the rage. My friend kept hers for so long. T-Mobile eventually sent her a letter saying, get a new phone. We're not going to support yours anymore. Like, what are you doing? Get rid of it. And I forgot, I didn't word it like that, but he worded it basically like, why on earth do you still have this stupid phone? Flip. That was a flash in the pan thing. Because, eventually, obviously your smartphone took over the need for that, to have a separate little digital camera. So that was a pretty short-lived project. Chase, Long Beach, Southern California ska. In fact, No Doubt, 311, Safe Fair, Streetlight Manifesto. I do not like 311. No Doubt, especially if you're talking about ska. Like No Doubt's very first album was very ska. Tragic Kingdom had a little bit of some of the songs a little bit, and then after that they just abandoned that sound pretty much. Got some ducks. Wall-mounted CD player. Why not? Ha! Little mini USB flash drives. That's funny. GilmoreKills.com. Or not Gilmore, GlamourKills.com. I cannot read. Cope Starship, Mayday Parade. So we're saying, yeah. Some more albums again. Hastings. Oh, what was a bookstore? Wasn't Hastings like a book music store? I think. They were never around where I lived, but vaguely familiar. Hump Day. Never heard of that movie at all. So, yeah. Not sure how good that was. They gave it 3 stars, but I don't know. I never heard of it. Bruno. That movie was all right. It's a movie you watch once. Like, you should watch it once. After, I can't imagine anybody watching it multiple times, though. It's not that good. It's not Borat. Orphan. That's still a pretty popular movie. It's got a good following. DVDs coming out. Battlestar Galactica. Fast and Furious. Watchmen. Question about Dark Knight. Hanging it back. Keith Buckley. That dude's awesome. Seen her for Every Time I Die. That dude's amazing. A lot of people say The Dark Knight is the best film ever made. I strongly disagree. What are your thoughts on The Dark Knight? And more specifically, what do you think the film implicitly argues that the ends justify the means, e.g. Batman taking the fall for Two-Face? I have never heard anybody say that is the greatest movie ever made, and anybody who says that is flat out wrong. I love that movie. It's amazing. But to call it the best movie ever made, not a chance in hell. My problem is I think it was a little too long. If they could shave like 15 minutes off the movie, I think it'd be better. There's just a few scenes where it kind of just drags on a little too much. But Heath Ledger's performance, obviously incredibly amazing. I was going to school in downtown Chicago when that was being filmed, and Wanted. They were filmed around the same time. And I'd see them filming, or I'd see, especially when they filmed at night, especially for Dark Knight, a lot of that was filmed at night. Coming in the morning, like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning, whatever it was. And you see like the remnants of what they were filming, like, the semi truck that flips over. That was laying on LaSalle Street upside down, and that was awesome to see. Gotham General Hospital was the old Brock's Candy Factory on the west side of Chicago. That place had been abandoned for like 20 years. And my train went right by it, so it was always funny. Abandoned. All of a sudden, one day, they're out there weed whacking the parking lot. Then they start sprucing up the building. It's like, what are they doing? And the day they filmed up the scene to blow up the hospital, that morning, like I said, my train went by it, Metro train, and it was like camera crews everywhere, actors, everything just everywhere. I was like in the parking lot waiting, and then on that particular day is when I took an earlier train back, like around 12:30, something like that. And when I came back, they had just blown up the building, and the building's still very much on fire. There's still people around. They're still filming. There's actually a scene where you can actually see the Metro train in the background, which would have been my train, which is kind of cool. More merch. All-time low again. Fight Night Round 4. The PS3 and Xbox 360. I never played any of these games. Not my thing. More albums. Above and Beyond. Just gonna get into articles. Don't care about the articles. Got some, oh, motionless and white. Modern Sunshine Clothing. You can get a free mixtape at MySpace. um, Oral history of the Warped Tour. Just quick glance at this. Yep, there's several people I recognize. There they are, who they are. But again, not the point of this. The Truth Campaign. Oh, goodness. So, for those who might not know, the Truth Campaign was an anti-smoking kind of PSA type thing. It was sponsored by Big Tobacco. Part of their massive settlement they had to do anti-smoking campaigns, and the truth was that. So, you know, all the big tobacco companies came together to make these stupid ads. Incredibly stupid. I don't think anybody ever paid attention to them. I highly doubt anybody quit smoking because of them. At the time, I was a smoker, and I thought it was incredibly stupid. I don't smoke anymore, and I still think it's incredibly stupid. Because it's not doing anything. It's just all, you know, companies trying to be hip and they're not. Oh, Eminem on Warped Tour back in '99. Oh, Blink-182. Fitting, since that lineup is back together again. More. It's right low on her arms. I'm not sure what that is. It's a band of some sort. And here is some small Warped Tour dates. The group was on some select dates. We've got another band. Musician's Friend and Nas present Crash and Burn. Devil Driver, amazing freaking band. Absolutely incredible band. If you're into metal. Get your back issues. All Time Low again. Jesus. The Music Merch Store again. Saw that earlier on. NoFX has a new album. Makeup. I remember that style of makeup. I never saw anybody with that type of hair, but yeah, the makeup I totally remember. Vulture Drumsticks. Got some more bands, some more merch. Big D and the Kids Table. I think I vaguely remember them. I never listened to them, but I could vaguely remember them. Buttons. Get your own buttons. Your own custom buttons. Actually, making your own buttons is super easy. It's not that difficult. Warped Tour stuff again. Blink-182. Wow, Blink-182 of Weezer, Fall Out Boy, Taking Back Sunday, Panic at the Disco, All American Rejects, Asher Roth, Chester French. Don't know the last two. That is one heck of a lineup, though. I've only seen Taking Back Sunday live. And that's because they were opening. It was My Chemical Romance, The Used, and Taking Back Sunday. And this was before Mayday Parade came out from My Chemical Romance, which people are pretty impressed by when I tell them that. Like, oh my God, he saw him before. I was in Chicago. I forgot what venue it was. The Vic, the Riv, something like that. Got some more albums. Lava Room Recording, Cleveland's premier recording facility. Guess in 09 as a fan too. Never saw anybody in 09 doing that. Oops. This magazine does not want to cooperate. Alternative press merch. Literally the exact same ad as that insert was at the beginning of the video. All-time low again. Jesus. They're really obsessed with them. Are they even still around? Probably. Got some skater stuff. Ten essential albums by WTF Warped bands. Yeah, they're bands that were on Warped Tour. Like, what the hell are they doing on Warped Tour? Beck's a little weird to be on Warped. Limp Bizkit. If it was a $3 bill, y'all album, I can see that being on Warped. Kid Rock, I can totally see being Warped. Kid Rock's not that heavy. Incubus, yeah, sure. Black Eyed Peas, and well, depending on when it was. 99. I don't know what the band was like back then. That was way before Fergie joined. Stained, that's a little weird for Warped. Eminem's kind of weird for Warped. Alien Ant Farm's super weird because they're like a one-hit wonder, basically. I don't know Meat Math. Katy Perry is also very odd for Warped. Pacific Drums. Travis Smith, drummer for Trivium. Trivium's a pretty good band. And we're at the end. We've never had. Hurley. Microphone for Youth. And more just Warped Tour stuff. So, that is that. That was AP Alternative Press, August of 2009. Just taking a look at some of the ads. Not just limited to catalogs. I got more catalogs to go over, don't you worry. But also, print ads is very much part of this channel as well. It's just anything ad related. Anywho, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you at the next one.